Nicola and Luke.
Hello.
It is wonderful to meet you both.
You
I just
too.
want to start off by saying how much I am loving this season.
Oh,
This
thank
is the
you.
season. Well, this is the season I've been waiting for because I am like a diehard Penelope stan.
Oh,
so I have
lovely.
been waiting for this
Thank you.
since season 1.
Amazing.
So on that note, this is definitely the romance that has had the most buildup. You know, in previous seasons, they bring in new characters and we get to see, you know, the origin story in that way. But we have been following this connection since season 1. I'm curious, how do you tackle meeting that sort of expectation? Do you feel it? Do you process it? Do you put it out of your mind?
Wow, yeah.
It's a little bit of everything, honestly.
Yeah.
You feel it, you process it, you put it out of your mind.
Yeah,
you, like,
you've described it
yeah,
perfectly.
kind of. I think in the beginning when we found out, it was like scary. I didn't feel ready, but we still had most of season 2 to film, like the majority of it, honestly. So there was time to think about it in that way. But then once we sort of found out what the storyline was, that was really thrilling to us because we were like, that happens, and then this, and there's another. Oh my god! And then in the middle of it, then we just had genuinely an incredible time filming. Yeah, it was 8 months of filming. It's really arduous. It's a labor of love. Yeah, but it was so insanely rewarding and wonderful to share it with a friend.
And now, like looking back and being able to see the episodes like together is, it just. Being able to see our full journey sort of play out is a real sort of crazy experience. I
amazing.
think. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, I mean, one of the sort of themes of this, right, or one of sort of the tensions around it is, do you start romance from friendship or not? I'm curious for each of you. Do you think that's a good way to start a relationship, or like once in the friend zone, always in the friend zone?
I think it's so difficult, isn't it? And it's something that Colin and Penn explore in the series is like whether you can bring up the courage to confess those feelings, and you know it's going to change your friendship or relationship no matter what happens. Yeah. So it's about, I suppose it's so individual to every situation, isn't it?
It is. It's so hard to know. But I actually also think that, you know, if it's someone who's in the friend zone, like, just ask, because then you'll know one way or the other. You might completely get your heart broken in the process. But I think in an ideal world, it's a wonderful thing to be friends first, because you have skipped all of the posturing of the beginning of a relationship when you pretend that you like never go to the bathroom, or that you never have spots and all this stuff. You know, people know all that stuff already. So I think it is like the best foundation for a relationship.
Amazing. Well, I mean, it certainly appears to be the case for Colin and Penelope, which of course I've been rooting for that love story. But I also thought this season has been really interesting because we've always kind of gotten to know your characters, but they're kind of two sides of the same coin, where all of Penelope's struggles are like on the surface. She cannot help herself but to show where she's struggling. Whereas Colin is very, very good at performing like everything is fine, but it's all happening internal. Can each of you guys talk a little bit about your characters in terms of that? Yeah,
you've described it so perfectly there. And we always find that there's so many similarities between what the character's going through, and they just they deal with them in completely different ways, and that's what is kind of the struggle of them coming together. And we talk so much about they really need to grow as individuals and become adults, and I think it's the first time that we've seen that in Bridgerton. Is, you know, we're used to seeing these strong adult characters that have already found their way, and it's just about finding their love match. And this is the first time that we're seeing these two young adults trying to find their way in the world, and particularly in society. I mean, it's difficult enough, like being in the world of Bridgerton and growing up, but to then try and find your love match. Yeah, I think it's so interesting to see the different ways they handle it, and actually what ultimately brings them together is just like knowing each other down to the core.
I love it. So, last question. Obviously, the show has a huge queer fan base, even though it hasn't necessarily centered a queer love story yet. We got that on Queen Charlotte, thankfully. Yes. I'd like to know what each of you guys think about maybe a queer love story on Bridgerton Prime.
I am desperate for it. Yeah. I cannot wait. I think it would be so beautiful. I think the wonderful thing about Bridgerton is it's an invented world that has never existed. You know, it's a Regency London in which, you know, we wear all these mad bright colours. It's really diverse, you know. There's like glitter eyeshadow. So I think there is so much space there for a queer love story. And I think all love stories deserve to be celebrated. And I hope that in time we get a leading queer love story in this show.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah. Well, where there is glitter eyeshadow, there
this
will be
is it.
That's what you've been saying all week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. This was so much fun, and thank you for another season of incredible television. I cannot wait to see how the rest of it plays out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.